Hello, I'm Greg Jamian, and welcome to Boomer Health at Home. As more baby boomers receive medical services at home, there are many questions that pop up that require sometimes quick answers. I have put together a series of short segments with healthcare professionals that will help explain how things work, along with answers to common questions found in home-based care. I hope you find the following information helpful.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Boomer Health at Home. I'm your host, Ryan Donlan. So okay, you make a commitment at home to eat healthier and decide to dine in more and cook, but where do you start? Here to talk today about how to develop a healthy menu plan to get a well-balanced diet at home is registered dietitian Laura Leblanc, as well as manager of the RNs at Americare Medical Incorporated, Lisa Plinus.
Hi, good morning.
Thanks for joining us. So let's start with the basics. So if you're at home and want to kind of start eating healthier, what are some ways that you can really set a menu plan up to make sure it's well balanced and can stay on track?
Well, planning is definitely the key, and making sure that you are buying the appropriate foods for your lifestyle. You have to look at, what's the week going to be like? Are you packing lunches for kids? Are you going out for doctor's appointments? Are you going to need out at that time? Or can you bring something healthy with you? You want to look at the number of people in your family. Are you shopping for 2 people, for yourself, or more? So that can kind of make you think about how much you need before you go, and write down the things that you like. And it's kind of like a puzzle, start pairing things together, and that will help you make, plan ahead and then make your grocery list from there. There's so many websites that can assist you in this. Some of them would be like allrecipes.com, there's the Food Network you can go on. There's other sites such as the American Heart Association and Diabetic Association and the American Dietetic Association that have actual meal plans for what your needs would be.
Great. What kind of, if you were developing let's say like weight loss, well, what kind of meal plan would you recommend would work best for that?
Well, you got to look at what you've been eating. You need to look at portion size. You need to look at the quality of the food. If you're wanting to lose weight, they say shop the perimeter of the supermarket. So you want to be looking at the 5 food groups in which you're getting a balance of low-fat dairy, low-fat cheese, whole grain breads, fruits, vegetables, and your meats. And you can basically make sure that you are reducing some of the processed foods, avoiding the fast food. Think about what you're going to eat, and don't skip long periods of time, and never go to the grocery store hungry, right?
Just to back up, I heard you say 5 food groups. I always learned in grade school was 4. Has pizza finally been added as a food group?
That's a combo, and that's off on the side with a piece of cake.
All right, wow.
So, yeah. But again, pizza in itself is not terrible if you're only eating a small piece, and the type is going to, you can have a thin crust pizza and still have pizza instead of getting a deep dish. So everything is not created equal in food, and that's why learning about it is so important.
Now, all our viewers in Chicago just tuned out. If no deep dish pizza, they're done now.
Well, occasionally. I never tell anyone they can't eat something. Yeah. It's about a choice, right?
That's good. So was there a change in the food pyramid with 4 as opposed to 5, or is it just kind of spread out different?
It's based on on MyPlate, which is the replacement for the pyramid, and they've now split the fruits and the vegetables, where before they grouped them in one, hence you had the 4 food groups.
So fruit and veggies are separate.
Exactly, because we're really focusing more on complex carbohydrates and getting food sources that are high in fiber as well.
Okay. Now, this is a thought with everyone, and I think people use this as like a self-defeating thing. It's like, well, I can't eat healthy because I can't afford it. What do you recommend to someone trying to stay on a budget?
Planning is key, because that way you're not going to compulsively, buy more than you need. Look at your weekly circulars. I mean, there's a lot of specials. Shop in season. Don't buy a watermelon in the wintertime, because you're going to pay sometimes $3 more for that watermelon, and it's not going to taste as good.
There's also reduced food sections. I know at Kroger
There are
fruit and vegetable section where they do have reduced,
Right.
A lot of fruits and vegetables on there.
Okay, is there a better day to shop for produce at a super? I've always wondered that.
Don't go on Sundays. I'm
Sundays are
telling you. No, it varies from a grocery store, and that's something you could ask at the counter. When do you put out your reduced foods, and is there a way I can be contacted? There's also grocery stores that can work with you as far as ordering, and they do home delivery.
Yes,
so that's another option.
Kroger does that new quick list thing where you can kind of set up and they'll deliver right to your curbside too.
Exactly.
Right. That's what I need, because I'm the impulse buyer.
Yeah, I have a 2-year-old at home, so it's like we can't go to the grocery store all the time. So.
Well, if you want it really easy, have those meal websites come and deliver it at your home. No fuss. But
And again, we talked about a little earlier, you and I were talking about the size of a meal plan, where when you go to like what we're used to, going to maybe all-you-can-eat restaurants, buffets, this and that. So if you did get that meal plan delivered to your house, a lot of people would be like, well, what the heck is this? I mean, this isn't,
Right.
I'm not going to get full off of this. But so can you kind of explain a little bit about how many servings that we really should be eating a day as opposed to what we may be used to?
It's all going to depend on your caloric needs. Obviously you want to, most people know that fruits and vegetables are a wonderful source of vitamins and minerals and fiber. But you also need to look at I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
The serving size,
the
portion
serving size.
sizes.
That is so key, because if we look at the calories that it's stating, we are not always looking at how much. So you could be drinking a beverage that says 100 calories, but there's 2.5 servings.
Right.
So you're getting a lot more than that. So that's key. And everyone's competing to supersize, so split it in half.
Or portion size, like for pasta, for instance.
Typically a half a cup is 1 serving. A really good place you can put in from the American Heart Association, from American Diabetic Association, or ADA, you can get lists of what constitutes a portion size.
So over time, if somebody wanted to start reducing, the amount of food, the caloric intake, serving sizes, all this and that, initially could they be hungry? I don't know if it's a old wise tale or not, that your stomach shrinks over time and you will get used to that. Is that true?
Well, again, it's not just going on a diet, it's making the choices. And most people find if you substitute simple sugars with whole grains, it's going to keep you fuller longer. So it is about calorie reduction, but it's about making better choices. If you eat an orange versus drinking orange juice, it's going to keep you fuller longer. So, and maybe smaller portions throughout the day. We don't want to feel like we're deprived. That's self-defeating. So, and it can be fun. You can pick new things that you've never had before.
For instance, for like somebody that's diabetic, there are vegetables like, let's say, carrots that are more higher in the glycemic index than other fruits and vegetables. So you still have to be careful what foods that you eat, depending on if you're diabetic or if you're not.
Or if you have hypertension and heart disease.
Right.
That's definitely consideration. My focus is always on balance, so if you're going to have something that's a higher sugar content, you can pair it with something like a protein or a fat to slow absorption, and then make a lighter choice. Avoid a lot of breads and things like that. But it's all individual.
Now, Lisa, you work in the home care field, so thinking someone's at home and they're worried about their loved ones, this is great for someone, their individual diet. If they're planning meals for other people, what kind of resources could a home care service, for instance, provide to help with that, with diet planning?
Well, we would initially send out a nurse probably to assess the patient, or Laura. We could send Laura out, who would be a wonderful advocate for the family. As far as, okay, we're gonna do this type of meal planning here. She could do the meal teaching with the family. She could even put out a menu plan, help them with that, depending on, if they're on a low sodium or diabetic diet or whatever, she could teach them. And the other thing I know Laura and I were talking about earlier are the hidden ingredients in foods, that so many of us do this just spur of the moment, like, rice-a-broni, hamburger helper, grab all, fast, easy stuff, where with the increase of sodium in our diets, horrible high blood pressures on the rise, terribly, diabetes on the rise, they substitute stuff. So Laura would be a wonderful resource to come in and teach families.
Thank you.
Yes.
So that's great. It's actually
thank you for making, sorry, I was going to say, gosh, there's so much to say on the topic.
I know,
so.
and that's, unfortunately, we're running out of time, so that's what I was going to
right.
say. There is I'm sure, a lot of questions at home. Where can you be reached if someone has a question?
Well, I own a company and I work for Home Health, and the number is, it's Mindful Nutrition. My number is 248-408-3591, and you can email me at mindfulnutritionllc@gmail.com.
Well, thank you. Thank you for being on. Lisa, you as well. Thank you for joining us. And if you have any questions for Lisa or anything about home care and setting up some assistance with that, you can call us at area code 248-288-2270. Thank you for watching.